Welcome back to the 18th episode of the Head versus Heart podcast. I'm the head because I look at Supercoach and rugby league gambling from an analytical perspective, and I'm joined by the heart because he looks at both of those from an emotional perspective. First of all, let's jump into accountability from last round. How did you go last round?
I'd rather not speak about it, but I got a flat 0 from 5. Can we move on? I'm down $50.
Yeah, honestly, not much better. I went 1 from 5. Pretty tough week. Had a few tough losses. Ended up about $400 down from those bets last week. Yeah, but let's move on. Let's jump into each game specifically. The first
Yep.
game of the round was the Dolphins versus the Rabbitohs. Dolphins won 36-28. What did you have in this one?
I thought this is my safest bet of the round. I heard Bunnies and AJ anytime scorers at the $3.50. No. The Dolphins scored 36 points. I didn't see that coming, did you?
Yeah, I didn't necessarily see them putting on that many points, but the Rabbitohs put on a fair amount of points as well. If it wasn't for goal kicking, my bet of +4.5 would have got up. I think they only
hmm
kicked 2 from 6 versus 6 from 6 for the Dolphins.
Yeah, what
Which,
happened there? Cody Walker kicked one goal and just gave up.
yeah, I think he gave up the goal kicking partway through to fucking someone else.
Yeah,
Someone,
Tane Milne,
I
who
don't
is
know.
somehow worse than, yeah,
Yeah. So frustrating that the plus four and a
very,
half
very
didn't get up
frustrating.
when they scored the same number of tries, but oh well. Moving on to the next game, the Sharks beat the Tigers 58-6. So they absolutely pumped them in this one.
Yeah, I was talking so much trash on the Sharks as well last week.
Yeah.
This is karma coming back to bite me in every single way possible. I personally had the Tigers to win. Not happening, is it?
I had the Sharks, but I had the Sharks 123. Um, Obviously that one didn't get up so
Ouch.
quite
Ouch.
comfortably. But yeah, like I guess I should have factored this in. I knew the Sharks would be desperate for a win. I just didn't think the Tigers would be as poor as they were. There's
Yeah, that
obviously
was not good rugby league by any standards. I'd probably say that's probably Newcastle rugby league level footy from the Tigers.
Yeah, we'll get into that game later. But obviously, mitigating factors, I guess, that Appy went off for a little bit, wasn't 100%.
Yeah.
And then also, yeah, I think the Sharks just, I think Trindle and Irons playing together just,
Yeah, and
don't.
Appy's sin bin was pretty garbage as well, to be honest. I think it was a bit unfair to them.
Yeah, yeah. There's mitigating factors, but either way, they won by 50, so whatever.
Yeah.
The next game of the
Fair
round
play.
was the Titans versus the Eels. My best bet of the round was in this one. Had the Titans 1-2, 22-24. Either way, they both would have won. So happy I got at least one win for this round. But what did you have in this one?
Yeah, so I had the Titans 13 plus. I also had a couple try scorers, only of which one got up. I got a bit greedy, and I'll admit that.
Yeah. Moving on to the next game, the Dragons with the upset victory over the Broncos. The Broncos go to, I think, 6 straight, 7 straight. I don't know, losses, something like that.
Yeah, it's not great, and they're playing Newcastle this round as well, so I'm kind of
Yeah.
scared for our own sake.
Yeah,
These Broncos gonna be fired up.
yeah, yeah, definitely. But yeah, another frustrating one. I had the Broncos 1-22-24, and that one obviously didn't get up. What about yourself?
Yeah, I had Broncos with Oates anytime. Oates nowhere near, unfortunately.
Yeah. In the last game of the round,
Let's
um,
move on.
yeah, honestly, we were at the game and it was just like a very frustrating one to watch.
Yeah, it
Um,
was really sad. At least like we went around any like Manly fans who would have rubbed it in if we were if after that domination. I know we would have, which is really funny.
yeah, 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 we would have been going the big ones if not the Knights won in Manly, but
Dude, I
yeah,
started
I guess some
cheering
of
so
them,
hard when I thought Elliot went over, and everyone just started looking at me, and I went, "Oh shit, he did score."
yeah, nice, nice.
Yeah,
But yeah, what can you do?
what
Um,
could you do?
yeah, hopefully a better performance for the Knights this weekend with some of the boys back. But I guess we'll wait and see who actually does end up playing off the back of Origin, and that'll be a big talking point.
Yeah,
Moving
that
into
could actually shift the game here. We'll speak about it when we actually get to the game, but Origin could definitely decide, like who backs up could decide a couple games this round.
100%. Yeah. Just before we jump into the next round, we'll just touch on the side bets. I went 2-0 in those. So it was the Tigers versus the Sharks, and you had two debutants to score. One
Unfortunately, I
debutant
won.
scored.
Yeah,
So the record's extended to 7-4. If you're
Should we
losing this round of side bets,
should
surely
we
it's
call it there?
hey,
Should we call it there, or do we go one more week?
one more week, I reckon, and then we'll give you a
Yeah.
chance to win. We'll do like
Yeah.
four side bets this round. Um, just for this one, obviously, if you lose this one, you'll have two forfeits that you'll need to make
Yeah,
up for.
you have to actually tell me what I'm doing. Like the one
Yeah,
thing I'm vetoing is the 40 fish finger challenge. I'm not touching those.
but if you have two, then surely can we cash in two to do the 40 fish finger challenge?
No, I'm not doing the 40 fish finger challenge. I would rather puke and eat my own vomit.
All right, we'll think of something that's like a double punishment that's really
Hmm.
bad. Maybe the Macca's challenge. Would you do that?
What if I just sound? How's that sound?
Sorry,
What if I just like get into sounding or something? Like have to do that.
get into sounding.
Do you not do you not know what that is?
No, is it something I
Okay.
should be looking up in my own time or?
Yeah, probably look it up like in incognito mode.
Yeah, okay, good to know. Anyway, moving on from that, let's
Uh,
talk Supercoach ranks. How'd you end up? Oh, what'd you score last round? How'd you end up in the rankings?
Rather embarrassingly, I captained Nico Himes last week in a moment of weakness. I completely forgot that he was out, even though I specifically told myself that I have to trade Nico next week. With that in mind, I had 771 total, and I somehow only lost 30 places. So I'm now 42. Actually, no, I went up 30 places. I'm now 42,316.
Yeah, nice. For myself, had a good round. Ended up bringing in Jaden Campbell last minute for Sam Walker and captain him, and he got 111. So pretty
You
happy,
very lucky ducky.
pretty happy with that one. Ended on 991. Went up 1.7k into 11,636. Hunting for that top 10k, and hopefully this is the round that gets it done. But before we go further into Super Coach, let's talk our bets for the week. The head and heart bet. I can't say one in there, but we can, I guess, figure one out
Yeah, we
live.
probably should have worked that out. Let's go Origin. So I'm picking my boy Zach Lomax to score.
Yeah, Zach Lomax, I'll take. We're on the same bet every round, but I'll take New South Wales. I like New South Wales to get it done. So
Easy money there. Get on it.
New South Wales and Zachy Lomax, and we'll have the best odds in between us
Yeah,
right now.
he can have my Zach children, if you will.
Yeah, nice. Um, as I'm writing this down, I'll jump into my best bet of the round. So for this round, I like the Titans plus 8.5. They're two teams that have sort of had differing fortunes on the weekend. Obviously, the Titans did get a win as well as Manly, but I think Manly's win looked a whole lot better than it was. I feel like they're a team that when they attack something, they can start flying, but there's some injury concerns to like your Leahy Hopewade, Ruben Garrett, a few players in that team. Even though Tommy T obviously played unreal on the weekend,
Yeah, it looked great.
it's hard to know if he's going to be 100% still. Um, yeah, and on top of that, I'm just a fan of betting against a team when they've had a massive win because generally public perception will be a lot higher on that team. And also the Titans, I think, didn't play as well as they could have, and their team's pretty full strength at the moment. They were messing around with the team a bit on the weekend by bringing in Brimo and chopping and changing things. But I think if Brimo isn't named, it might actually be beneficial to
Yeah.
them just so they can stick with one fullback all game and the sort of role is clear. So I'm very happy to take them at a plus 8.5 when you're getting that much there. I'll have to get around them. Obviously, both those teams are relatively unaffected by Origin, but DCE being out as well could be beneficial to that bet. But what about yourself? What do you have in this one?
Yeah, look, the way I saw last week, unfortunately, as a Knights fan, we played three guys out of position. And we had a fourth who was hobbling around the whole time and probably shouldn't have been on the field, but we just didn't have anyone to replace him.
Yeah.
The way I see it, Manly absolutely exploited the fact that there were four players out there who totally shouldn't have been, being, over a third of our team.
Yeah.
I think there might be a bit of a false confidence in the abilities of Manly on the backs of that. And I am going to go Titans 13 plus, AKP, and Campbell to score at $23.
Yeah, so similar thoughts, except yours a little bit more
Mine's a bit more extreme. Call me an
yeah,
extremist,
extreme.
if you will.
Yeah, yeah. But similar thoughts in that game. So hopefully that goes in our favor. But maybe we're just jilted Knights fans that want to see
Yeah, I
the
just want to see some
Titans
points.
Titans win against Manly. But I guess
I
we'll
just want to see sad Hello Sports because happy Hello Sports is just insufferable to watch.
yeah, yeah. But let's jump into our trades for the round. For myself, obviously, I ended up going Jaden Campbell last round. So I've got him on my 5'8" at the moment, but I'm going to flip him down to my fullback position. Trade Fletcher Sharp out to Matty Burton at a low price at the moment, and then I'm going to cash in on Blaze Talangi's high price and go to Tungo with Nathan Cleary obviously coming back and hoping to increase his output. But what do you have for this round?
Yep. So I have one trade I'm definitely doing. That is Nico Hines, just a straight swap for Jerome Hughes. And I am probably going to do this just pending Ponga getting through Origin and actually playing this week. I just want to just confirm that actually happens. But I will be trading out Sharp for Ponga if Ponga does start on Saturday.
Yeah, no, fair enough. That makes sense. Honestly, I might even reverse the Sharp trade if he ends up getting the fullback spot for the Knights, just because obviously trying not to waste as many trades.
Yeah, look,
But
I don't think Sharp will start, but I just want confirmation that Ponga doesn't accidentally get hit in the head like he tends to do when he
yeah,
plays around the middle.
yeah, yeah, and also like we have no guarantee at all around what Ponga's minutes are going to be because he's obviously coming
Yeah,
off.
exactly. Like we don't know what he's playing. Apparently, there's some rumors he might be playing nine for a little while, which is kind of insane.
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
yeah.
might
So
come on, play 40 minutes off the bench. Reece Walsh might die again. We don't know.
yeah, yeah. So definitely a wait and see. Sort of speaking of Supercoach, I think I have an idea for our first side bet. We actually have each other in the league this week in Supercoach. So maybe head to head would be a good first side bet because we do need four for this week.
Yeah, I'm happy to do that. I'm kind of aware that I've already given up on Supercoach though, so I think this one's probably just a point for you. But out of the moral victory, I think I have to accept that.
Yeah, I mean, surely you trade hard this weekend to try and get me. You're still in the eight, so you can still
Yeah.
make the finals. You got to just pick up probably 2 to 3 wins out of the last four. So
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But again, yeah, I'll take this. I'll just give you the point already though.
okay. I mean, yeah. I mean, surely make more trades. Anyway,
Yeah,
we
we'll talk
will
about
we'll
it.
leave that. That's one of the side bets. Um, the first game of the round isn't a game of the round. It's obviously
State of
uh
origin.
it'll be tonight, I guess, when the pod comes out.
Mhm.
Yeah, state of origin. But you already spoke to last week what you like in this game, but do you
Yep.
want to just recap what made
Yep.
you?
So I like the concept of all Knights players scoring and having a blinder. So I picked all three of them: Ponga, Best, and Gags. You should have got on this one early because it's now firmed into $49.
Yeah, nice. So yeah, yeah. Obviously, if you did get on that one earlier, it was longer odds last week. For myself, going a little bit out of the box, I guess you could say I'm jumping on Mitch Moses to win the Wally Lewis medal. You can get that on Sportsbet at $5.20. My thinking is that if New South Wales do go on to win, I find it very unlikely that someone else does win the Wally Lewis. With such a performance
Yeah, he had an awesome game
record.
in game one. Like you would have to, sorry, game two. You'd have to like have a player who did well in game one, but there wasn't really a standout in game one, was there?
Yeah, yeah. Well, I mean, just I think like the statistics will stick in people's minds, and he literally had a record number of try assists
Yeah.
in game two. Not to say obviously he was really good regardless, but I think that statistic's just going to stick in people's mind and hopefully influence the decision to get him the Wally Lewis. So I
I
think he
mean,
could just
yeah.
have an average game and New South Wales win, and I think he probably gets home because it can be seen as he was one of the difference makers. The only other one that I think, obviously, because Latrell came in and Latrell's out now, so it can't be Latrell. The only other one really is Dylan Edwards, but I think Dylan Edwards would have to play sort of out of his skin
I mean,
to
there
pick
is
it
one
up.
player who has affected this Origin series more than Moses, and that's Suolihi. He could win it for Queensland.
Yeah, so yeah, shout. Maybe we should jump on him. But yeah, obviously, otherwise, like there's some Queensland options you could take, but DC is like $2.60, $2.70, and I just don't see
Yeah.
any value in that at all.
Yeah, I don't think he really played that well in game one, did he? I thought
Oh,
Benny Hunt was
he's
better.
easily been their best. Like
Yeah.
yeah, he sort of guided them home in game one. But
Yeah.
yeah, he's incredibly short, and
Yeah,
I
long-term memory is not my best foray. So
yeah, no, I do sort of back us, yeah, to get it done, considering what happened in game one to blow us out.
yeah,
Yeah, so I still back New South Wales as a New South Welshman, but yeah, I like Moses for the Waterloo at that price point.
yeah, definitely fair enough.
Let's move on to the NRL though. The first game of the round is the Raiders versus the Warriors. It's in Canberra, and this is a Raiders team with Jamal Fogarty back in.
Ooh, Fogarty's back. I'd love to see that.
Um, and then there's a few other ins in this team, like a Huddy Young and a Zach Hosking. I don't know if
Hosking,
Zach Hosking, yeah, Zach Hosking's on the bench.
yeah,
Um, so they've added a lot of depth, and then they're coming up against a Warriors team without a chance. Nickel, Klogstad and Marcelo Montoya also.
yeah, but I'd argue that a Tua Peaky is probably an upgrade from the way that Chance Nickel-Cookstad's been playing recently.
I think he's just been sort of injury
I
plagued.
think he has been injured. I don't think we've seen him 100% in a while since he got back. So
Yeah,
I think Tua Peaky, again, great, could be a great player for them. Would you consider trading him in now, or do you think it's a bit too late in the season for a Tua Peaky?
I think it's definitely too late, Supercoach wise, for Tuabiki. At this point, you should be hovering around that 10 trade mark, and you should really only be going absolute bottom dollar nuffs to make money, or going players that you think are great options for the run home. And
Fair enough.
Tuabiki, okay, but definitely not an option for mine. Another one that could be considered an option with a move to wing is Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. Any interest from you there?
Look, I don't know, to be honest. I still think playing Roger at wings is out of position. I'm surprised he hasn't been moved back to fullback. I'd rather Tua Peaky on the wing, to be honest. Given Rogers in that team. Saying that though, I just don't know if he's going to score enough points.
Yeah, look, for myself, I'm not a fan of Tuapiki on the wing at all. I think he's too small a body. So I don't mind Roger on the wing. A lot of people have spoken to um, that he could be good on the wing. So I think he could be an interesting pickup, especially at that 458K mark. He's pretty cheap as compared to some players averaging the same around that sort of mark in his team. So I don't mind Roger Tuivasa-Sheck. I prefer the Isaac Tungo that I picked up, but you can definitely make worse decisions. Um, like ownership change in some of the players in this team, there hasn't been a massive swing to anyone. Mitch Barnett, Adam Fanil-Blake are popular, but is there anyone else that sort of stands out for you, Supercoach wise, in this one?
Look, not really, to be honest. I think we've kind of gone over every one of these players to death at this point. If you don't really know about them, then just don't pick them.
Yeah, I don't see anyone as an amazing option in either of these two teams right at this present point in time. Let's jump into betting. What did you have in this game?
Yeah, so I think the Warriors, I think they're on a bit of an upswing. I know they're away in Canberra, but I think they'll get it done. I have Waz with DWZ anytime at 280.
Yeah, for mine, I have to disagree with you in this one. I think the ins for the Raiders team are massive. Fogarty obviously was a massive linchpin in their team. And then obviously you got Huddy Young and Zach Hosking to add some depth to this team. It's in Canberra. Uh, both teams are off a bias. That's not really relevant, but prefer a team off a couple of losses looking to bounce back, which is what the Raiders are. And the Warriors are off a couple of wins or tight performances. So big fan of the Raiders in this one. I will have the best odds above my head. I'm not sure exactly what they are, but yeah, the Raiders. Do you want to take a side bet? Raiders,
More than
Warriors?
happy to. I think it's an easy point to myself. It'd be rude not to.
Yeah, no worries. I'll write that down. Now you jump into the next game if you could.
Yep. Next game is the Rabbitohs the Tigers at Gosford, funnily enough. So
Yeah,
the big outs in particular, Jai Arrow, it appears, has finally gone for surgery. I'm glad it took him. It's actually kind of annoying it's taken him this long. We could have seen him play well at the end of the season, but no, he just held on. And rather unfortunately, it's a bit too late now. Sucks.
I think he was always going to be ruled out, so I think he was just holding off as long as possible.
Yeah,
To
no,
get
he was, but what he could have done is he could have just had surgery at the start of the season. We could have seen him at the end playing at
uh,
100%.
when he was going to get surgery, it was going to rule him out for the season regardless.
Oh, okay, yeah, never mind
Pretty
then.
sure.
That
Pretty sure I could be.
sucks. Other than that,
Yeah,
it appears there is. I know, never mind.
Api Coruscant in the
Yeah, no,
Tigers.
Api Coruscant has been named 22.
Yeah,
So
but I'm pretty sure he's going to be out. It's like a 1 to 2 week recovery. So
yeah,
I highly doubt he's going to play this weekend.
yeah, I'd
Uh,
imagine he's been named just in case like an act of God happens or something. He isn't like his physical body just heals itself immediately.
yeah, yeah. It is just a strain. I'll present you a sort of conundrum. I'm currently running with Api Coruscant and Harry Grant. Um, Harry Grant under an injury cloud as well. What would you be doing if you were in that position with those two players?
Who is your lowest? Like, who is like likely to be your lowest non-scoring player, scoring player that's not named?
It'll be someone bad probably. Like I got Farmer Silly, who unfortunately got named on the bench.
I think you might just have to cop it. And they're both probably going for like a week or two.
Yeah, yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, I think if you're in the position that you have Grant and Appy, um, and last minute they're both ruled out, I don't think it's the point of season where you can make a trade off them unless there was someone that came up as a really good option. I think it's a waste of
Yeah,
it.
no, I don't think it's worth it. I think you just have to cop the AE there.
Yeah, yeah. Just for 1 round, and you can also it also means you sort of get a free loop on your VC because you can captain whoever you decide to play out of Grant and Appy.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
so there's that added factor. But yeah, like hopefully Grant ends up playing. But I think if both of them are out this week, I reckon they both back next week. So I don't think you can trade either of them out at this point in time, in my opinion.
Yeah, no, I
Uh,
definitely agree with you there.
yeah, looking at this team, is there anyone else that sort of stands out to you as trade ins at least?
Maybe Colin Matangi, but I think we've spoken to him to death as well.
Yeah, I'm just pulling up now. I'm just seeing who the highest traded in players. Uh, yeah, I mean, so Jack White at this point, Jack White and Alex Johnston, both cheap. AJ got a what one? He had his first decent week in a long time. He got a 121 on the weekend.
Ooh,
And
yeah,
then,
nice. Unfortunately, I just don't think they're consistently going to his side. So I think that might. I hope it's not an outlier because I love AJ scoring, but
yeah,
at this stage, I don't think it's a great idea to get on him.
and Jackie White, I'm sorry, as well, got an 88 back-to-back 88s now.
Uh,
For mine, I don't love. I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I don't love either of them, but Jack White at 477k, I think is like, obviously it's not expensive, but you consider the options that you have. I'd much rather spend a little bit more to get a good player, or save the money and go down to an AJ or a
yeah,
Tungo. Um, AJ at 394k, I can get around a lot more. Obviously, he's going to have quiet weeks, but you're just trading him into play on matchup.
yeah,
Uh,
394. That's not too bad at all. The
yeah,
problem with it, I just don't see them attacking down that edge very much. I mean,
well, I mean, they did. He scored tries on the weekend, so
yeah, he scored two tries, and that's kind of it seems to be an outlier this season.
yeah. But that's like kind of exactly why you want to get on. Like you want to wait
Mm.
till there's sort of it seems like they're not going that way, and then you get him in, and then hope that
Yeah,
everyone
I
pops
get what
up.
you mean. Yeah,
You can play him and he scores some tries. So there's an element of risk definitely, but I think that risk is pretty mitigated by his price. Uh, for mine, I just do like Tungo a little bit more with Cleary back in the team when Cleary was in the team earlier in the season. He was really really strong. So I prefer him. Obviously, there's a higher risk with Tungo that maybe the Panthers don't like rest. Sorry, the Panthers do rest players for the last round of the year, but hopefully my team will be set up so that I have enough center wingers that are good that I don't have to play him regardless.
yeah, fair enough.
So yeah, AJ, I prefer Tungo, but I can definitely understand people moving towards him. Outside of that, I'm not a massive fan of anyone in either team. I'm just looking at trade outs, and then yeah, it's basically Appy and Galvin's there as well. Um, if you held Galvin, would you be thinking about trading him out? Think he's had some
I
good.
still have him, but I just don't see the reason to trade him out now. I'd just play him on matchups.
Yeah, I mean, he had a 32 on the weekend, which is probably why people are looking to jump off him. Um, if you're going to Matty Burton, I don't hate it as a trade out, but you don't need to trade out.
Yeah, no, I just don't see the reason to trade it. If you have like one good half, I don't see why you need to trade him again.
Yeah, yeah. Um, Aside from that, like there's no real massive pod moves to move towards. I love in this one. I'd rather go a better team for my pod. But um, let's jump into betting. What do you like in this game specifically?
Yeah, look, I think the Bunnies are going to win, and I think they're going to be pretty dominant while doing so. So I'm going to taking them at a line of negative 19 and a half. I'm also taking AJ and Gagai anytime scorers to make a bet of 525.
Yeah, I kind of have to agree with you to an extent. But like you look at those odds for a Bunnies negative 19 and a half plus two try scorers 525, very low for that bet for mine. So the line for the Bunnies is negative 10 and a half. I would lean the Bunnies, especially with Appy out. I think he's a big piece to this Tigers team. But I just feel like 10 and a half is too many points to
Yeah,
jump
no,
on.
I get what you mean. Like, it just seems like it's a very, very, very bad odds for what could be a blowout, but also may not be a blowout if the Tigers hold on.
Yeah,
And also that, like you said previously, this would have been like the punter thinks about how the Tigers lost by 50 last week.
yeah,
Will that
that's
happen again? The punter probably is a short-term memory and thinks there's no way they don't lose against a team that's scoring a ton of points.
yeah. You're exactly right
Yeah,
in that vein of thinking. But yeah, I just can't trust that this Tigers team without Appy there either way. So no bet on this one for mine. I'll watch Origin closely, see how Cam Murray's going. Might change my opinion, but probably almost definitely no bet on this one.
yep, fair enough.
Um,
So let's move on to the next game, being the one that I think we are both very scared, probably the best way to say that, being Knights v Broncos at McDonald Jones Stadium. The biggest news in general is that every one of the Origin players has been not rested but named in the extended bench. Like, for example, the Broncos have possibly one of the best 19 through 24s I've ever seen. They have Corey Pakes, again, not playing, but I think he probably should be playing. Not Origin, but he's there. Then they have Reece Walsh, Selwyn Cobbo, Patrick Carrigan, Payne Haas, and finally back, well, maybe back, Adam Reynolds.
yeah, so I guess that betting and Supercoach wise, a lot can change in this game. If Reynolds, Haas, Carrigan, Colbo, Walsh were all named, you'd probably have to think the Broncos get it done. But you know, if some of them aren't and it's key positions, then I think we're a good chance.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I feel like it's a really hard game to bet on, a really hard game to move your Supercoach players around at this point in the week. But we do have the benefit that it is one of the earlier games, so a lot of the moves you're making can wait. Let's talk fullbacks. Probably the two fullbacks that I'm targeting for the run home are going to be Reece Walsh and Kalen Ponga. Maybe not Reece Walsh, just because they do have a buy in an awkward position, I think, round 23, 24. So
Keep in
maybe,
mind that Knights have a buy in round 22. So is that really going to matter too much?
yeah, so round 22 is okay because hopefully I should be able to make it into the finals and I'll pick up Ponga after 22. I think they're 24 though, the Broncos, which is an awkward time. So that'll
Oh,
be
okay, fair enough.
second week of finals, I think, or first or second week of finals.
Yeah.
Uh, so yeah, that's a tough one for the Broncos. I'm obviously going to probably want to be targeting other Broncos players like Payne Haas. So awkward one whether we jump on Walsh, but I think we're both sort of sold on Ponga. It's just about timing of Ponga. So you said you were looking at him this week. He's got 180 break even. That doesn't scare you off at all.
Yeah, look, I have enough cash where I'm basically at this point, if I purchase him, he's going to stay in my team anyway. So it doesn't really bother me as to how much it's going to cost because I think eventually he will go back up in price.
Yep. You wouldn't think about the fact that obviously I think he's going to go up in price as well. I think he's going to end up higher than his current price, but it's more about the fact that you could just pick him up at a lower price, save yourself some money in a couple of weeks. Possibly that doesn't.
Potentially, I just don't know if I have the trades to do so. Like, I'm kind of worried I'm going to get into a position where I'm going to run out of trades and just not have the ability to bring in Ponga.
Yeah, I appreciate that, but I mean, you save the trade this round, then you can use it later on. I don't know.
You
Just
know,
yeah. But I appreciate that. Obviously, stuff happens. You might not be able to get him, and yeah, you want him now. I understand that. But for mine, definitely
it's
a
not like a
wait.
teacher like telling me that, I understand where you're coming from, but you still got a fucking F.
Yeah. No. I can understand the want for Ponga. For mine, not this round. Probably after our bye. And probably similar if you were looking at any other Knights players for this round. Actually, funnily enough, without even being named, the highest traded player from this game is Payne Haas. He still has like a 17% ownership, which is like makes
Weird.
no sense to me because he hasn't been playing uh, like
Has people just been
through
holding him the
Origin.
whole time, and he's been out for
Yeah,
Origin as well?
obviously people are holding him through Origin, but like
Yeah,
that just I don't know that confuses me.
that's super
But
strange.
but yeah, those two, Haas and Ponga, I think everyone should sort of be targeting for the run home. It's just about when you pull the trigger, but it's not this round for mine.
Yeah, fair enough.
And then obviously the highest trade out player is Fletcher Sharp. Fletcher Sharp, I'll give you a hypothetical. Fletcher Sharp ends up getting named. Would you be keeping him? Would you be playing him as well?
Yeah, look, if Sharp gets named, do you know his break even at all?
It would be kind of high because he had that like 15 on. Yeah, so it's
Yeah, yeah, it's a dud
55.
game. How much is
Um,
he, sorry? 365.
his price is 359. His
Yep.
break even is 55. So
Yeah, look, if he has a decent game, I assume he's going to beat that break even of 55. So it's not too worrying to me. I don't think the Knights get pummeled again. I think he had a bad game, and so did the rest of the outside backs. That's to put it politely. But I think if he plays, he will end up getting higher than 55. So I'm happy to keep him if that's the case.
yeah, obviously it's dependent on a lot of factors. I think if a Broncos roll out a full strength team and we don't end up naming Ponga and Sharp plays, like I think he's probably still a sell because like I just don't think he scores that well and you can sell him. Like you're not going to lose much money because the
Yeah.
55 rating isn't crazy, but I think he's probably still a sell if you can make it work with
So
the
you
rest
think
of
he's
the
peaked
team.
in value?
Yeah, I mean, like if the Broncos roll out a really poor team and he gets named and like because Ponga's got like some niggly injury or something, then in that situation, I think he's a hold. But I'm already selling him, and it's unlikely I reverse that trade. I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
That's sort of the more relevant super coach points. Is there anyone that sort of else that stands out to you that you might want to be looking at for the run
Yeah.
home? Obviously, a lot of people are looking at halfbacks. Adam Reynolds when he comes back, would be
Well, I
interesting.
think a good option would be someone like Papalangi. If you're looking for someone who can score 1 week and then become a nuffy, then he's a perfect option for that,
Yeah.
especially in a short buy round.
Do you know when Tuala's back?
I think he's out for 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I honestly don't know, to be honest, off the top of my head.
Yeah.
Yeah, like he could. Yeah, if you needed numbers this week, it's not the worst trade, but I would rather, if you don't need numbers, then I would rather just go an actual enough, like I think like Miles Martin or someone like that.
Yeah,
That's
fair enough.
that's
Liam Martin.
never going to play. Hey,
Liam Martin, good enough.
no, yes, Liam Martin, good enough. Um, but yeah, no, so not too much else to talk about for mine. I can see people trading out Pipe is Paul. Like I don't think you have to. Like if you need numbers, I would just hold on to him. He was okay
What was the
last.
score last week? Was it still a
He scored
50
like a
odd?
55 or something like that.
Oh,
So
that's fine. It's not less. It's not setting the world on fire, but it's fine to have him in Resi scoring that amount.
yeah, and his break even's around that. So like I think you're fine.
Yeah,
Holding Pipe is full for now, and I'm doing so. And
yeah,
then obviously Greg Marzu like got a 14, so some people are trading off him, but like
yeah. I think he's hurt. I think he should probably get off Greg Miles if you have him.
I wouldn't trade off him. Like Ponga back, you're not gonna. He's a hold. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much everything in this one. Let's talk betting. Did you have anything for this one?
Yeah, look, this is the first time I'm gonna say no bet in a while. After last week I've learnt my lesson. I lost a lot of money in the Knights game, and I don't think it's good to back that up.
Yeah, fair enough. I'm probably gonna do the same as you in this one, especially with all the uncertainty around what the teams will end up being, it's probably an easy game, whether you're a Knights fan or not, to let go through to the keeper.
Indeed.
Let's talk the next game of the round. The should be a really good game. Hopefully, the Storm versus the Roosters. A lot of a few big ins in these teams. I mean, no guarantee around if Grant ends up playing Nick Meaney back in for the Storm as well. And then the Roosters team, Suaalii comes back in. They got Tupanua in the centers, even though, they have maybe other options, but
He's not doing too bad though, to be honest. I don't
yeah,
mind him there.
yeah, no, he's okay there. And then Warrior Hargraves out as well for the Roosters. But yeah, obviously this Storm team, it's not a guarantee around like Grant might not be fit. So I guess we'll wait and see.
Are there still injury concerns over Ryan Pappenhausen as well?
I think Pappy's okay. He played the last game, so you'd think he'd be okay.
Yeah, I thought he had like some sort of ongoing, I think, hamstring or calf injury. Is that right?
Yeah, but I don't know. I think his original injury was one that was not like there wasn't much re-injury risk.
Yeah.
And yeah, obviously played last game, so I think he's okay. I think like I have him in Supercoach and he's a fine hold in my opinion. But yeah, like I definitely wouldn't be looking to buy him if I didn't own him already. Obviously I was taking a bit of a risk with that one and hasn't really paid off for myself. Just firstly, Supercoach, obviously there's going to be a lot of players that are relevant in this one. Anyone you like, I can see people jumping on like a Connor Watson at the moment with obviously the hooker injuries. Would you be looking to jump on Connor Watson?
I don't mind him. He's playing at lock as well, which I do not mind. I think it's a good source of points for someone like Connor Watson.
Yeah.
I don't know how long he's got that role down long term though.
I think he's pretty locked into that role, like into big minutes with how he's been playing. Well, not big minutes, but like decent minutes with how he's been playing.
Yeah, I'm
I'm
surprised that
just
they've dropped Nat Butcher to the bench and they're playing Victor Radley in second row, and they can seem to be. I think it's the past couple of weeks they've done that now.
yeah for quite a while. I think it's at least been like 6 weeks that they've been
Or
playing
it's been a
Victor
bit
Radley.
shorter than that, but yeah, I find it interesting that they've got Radley there instead of having Butcher. But yeah, if Watson's going to probably play lock until the end of the year, if that's the case, then I think he's a decent pickup.
I'm sort of scared off by the price, 677K. I don't think you need him at that price. Like I mean, certainly he would be if you're playing that hooker. I kind of can get around that to an extent, but I don't think you need him at the 677K. So for mine, I'm scared off by the price. But there's definitely worse moves you can make. Aside from that, there's a lot of your standard Tedesco, Grant, and then your boy, I've got him as well, but Jerome Hughes. Do you want to just quickly talk to why you like bringing in Jerome Hughes this round?
Yeah, look, I think he's probably one of the best of the best at half at the moment. I can't really see any other reason not to, other than the fact he's got a ridiculously high average, and I don't think he has another buy this season.
I'm not sure. The Jerome Hughes obviously has the risk because they're so far ahead in first at the moment that they do rest a lot of players
Yeah,
last round. So there's that consideration. I'll just double check if they have a buy.
yeah. Look, we'll cross that road when it comes to it.
Yeah, no, it doesn't look like they have a buy. But yeah, there's obviously the round 27
Yeah.
risk with Jerome Hughes.
Hmm.
But yeah, no, I can certainly understand wanting to bring him in. I'm definitely going to hold him myself until the end of the season. Um, yeah, so aside from that, I can see some people even bringing Harry Grant. I probably wouldn't risk bringing in Harry Grant right this week. But like some of the other options, Ellie Katoa, Angus Crichton, always going to be solid. If you need to jump to one of them, I'm happy for people to be doing that. Just not this round
Yeah,
for
yeah.
myself.
Definitely agree with that.
Anyone else that stands out to you? Either way,
Not
is it
really.
trade in or trade out?
No, no one in particular, to be honest. I'm happy to move into betting if you are.
Yeah. Let's jump into betting. What do you have in this one?
Yep, so I think the Roosters will win comfortably, but I don't see the Storm being shut out at all. So I'm going to go Roosters, Young, and Pappenhausen anytime try score at 550.
Yeah, fair enough. I think the Roosters win this one. Uh, a Storm team with some concerns around exactly what players are going to be playing. I'm happy to jump on the Roosters now, just with the chance that Grant's out. I think if he is sorry, like I think if it's Nate, if he stays in the team close to game day, I don't think the odds shift that much. But if he's ruled out, I think the odds do shift in the Roosters' favor. And on top of that, Suoli comes back in for the Roosters. Definitely will have a point to prove after, like obviously the game that he was ruled out was that Origin game. So I think he'll want to play well. So I've got the Roosters head to head in this one. I'll have the best odds above my head. I'm not sure exactly what they're at, but they're floating around $1.80 um, in this one.
Fair
Um,
enough, not too bad.
the next game of the round is the Panthers versus the Dolphins. Uh, the number one talking point probably for this one is Cleary back in the team. Um, do you see Cleary as a super coach option? What do you think his effect on this team is?
Yeah, look, he's just back from injury. We saw him get it injured, like re-injured pretty soon after his returning a couple of like maybe 6, 7 weeks ago now.
Yeah,
Look, I don't trust him if that's the case. I'd rather see him play 2 games just so we know he's actually going to continue playing.
yeah, yeah. Over 5,000 super coaches have traded him in though at 805K. Uh, and he's got a break even of 189.
I mean, he could be a pod like this. He could go off this game.
Yeah, I don't see the appeal, honestly. I, I yeah, like they're playing at a point. I think they're playing a Sunday 2 o'clock. That's a guess.
Yeah, Sunday 2 o'clock.
So they're at a point in time when a lot of the fatigue will start to set in from Origin. So even if their Origin players do come back, you're like your Luais, Toto, Martin. I still don't think they'll be playing anywhere near 100%. So I don't see him having a massive one against the Dolphins team that should hopefully go okay against him. So I'm happy to fade him for this round at least, but definitely someone that you can start to look at from this round on. I'll double check their buy schedule. I can't remember off the top of my head what they're looking like, but I feel like they have a buy. So, um, no, sorry. What am I
No,
No, yeah, no. So they don't have any buys for the rest of the season. But yeah, I'm definitely happy to wait at least a week. They run into the Dragons, Knights, Eels, Storm, not the best, but Raiders, Rabbits, Titans. So happy to wait a week, but definitely can see the appeal with Cleary. Um, off the back of his performance last week, Tavita Pangai Jr. is finally traded in. Would you be
he looked so
interested?
good last week, but
Yeah,
with Pangai in particular, you don't know which Pangai is going to show up.
yeah.
Like he notoriously does not show up week in, and then he'll have an absolute blinder next. So I'm not really certain of that.
Yeah, no, and I can agree. Yeah, if you've been watching a footy for a long period of time, you would know that's exactly what Pangai is. He shows up one week and not the next.
Well,
So
we saw that with his past 2 games. He had one of the most bland games I've ever seen on his return. I didn't even realize he was on the field, to be honest. And then went, oh, Pangai Junior's there.
yeah, I mean the argument against that could just be, oh, he was working his way into things slowly. So you
Yeah,
could
I
make
get
that
that.
argument
Yeah.
against that. But yeah, I just think historically the evidence is sort of there that he isn't a consistently good player, whereas someone
Oh, he
like,
can be a world beater, but also he doesn't want to be a world beater every
yeah, like he's not consistent is more my point.
week. Yeah.
Where versus someone like an Angus Crichton who previously was sort of a world beater every week, and then sort of slumped out of form, and then this year he's come back into that world beater every week form. So I think that's the difference between like jumping on an Angus Crichton at 450K versus jumping on a Tavita Pangai at 380K.
Yeah, I
Um,
definitely agree with that. Mhm.
yeah, so I'm not a fan, but the player I am on in this one is Isaac Tungo. So Isaac Tungo, let me pull up his record. He's got a break even of 63, so it's not the lowest. You don't have to jump on this week, but I like him as an option. at the beginning of the season, he went 46, 145, 100, and then some lower scores. But he started the season as I think the number one center wing through 3 rounds, off the back of some of Cleary's service, and you can see where his scores start to drop off, mellow out without Cleary. Throughout the past sort of 6 weeks, he's had 39, 37, 41, 41, 36, 35. I think it's the perfect sort of time to look at jumping on him as he's fallen to less than 400k with Cleary coming back into this team. But would you agree?
I definitely agree with that. Like, I don't see any problems with that at all. I think he could be a great pickup for that price.
Yeah, I mean, hopefully, he is someone that you can definitely just play on matchup if you're picking him up at that price. And yeah, hopefully he's a benefactor of some of Cleary's good work. I can
Yeah,
definitely see him
definitely.
at least maybe not this week he'll necessarily go massive, but in the next coming weeks, I can see him, putting together some big scores, some hundred sort of scores. But yeah, no, that's just one to wait and see. Hopefully that pans out well. Aside from that, no one's super highly traded in um, from either of these two teams. No one I'm seeing here would really interest me, especially around the Origin period. But I guess players like a Brian To'o you could look at a little bit more closely if his price sort of becomes a bit more attainable. Um,
Okay,
in terms
that's
of
true.
traded out players,
I saw
obviously,
Trent Buller's been named at 17.
yeah.
Which
So
good.
he would be one that you want to trade out aside from the obvious injury affected ones.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, get off trade floor if you haven't already. But yeah, then aside from that, I think it's just sort of mainly injury affected players. Any sort of other players that you would be sort of looking to trade in or out from either of these two teams?
Yeah, look, not really, to be honest. I just wanted to kind of bring up the fact that Edwards and EO have been definitely dropped for this game, which I find really odd. But I guess that kind of shows you how
Just
well Dane Laurie's been playing.
they're not dropped; they're
But,
just
well, as in
rested for it.
not named, sorry, rested. Same shit.
Yeah, but like it's the same like the Cowboys team. Like every week after Origin, they always just name them in the extended. So like they might come in, you never know.
Oh no, they aren't named on the extended at all. Like they're just not there.
Oh, they're not on the extended at all.
No.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess that's some. Well, let's talk betting because then I can speak to sort of what I want to jump on, and you can
Yeah, no
speak to your
worries.
bet as
Yeah, I'll speak
well.
to that.
Firstly, for myself, I have the Dolphins plus 12 and a half. So sort of what you just mentioned, I didn't even sort of clock that was a thing, but no, Edwards and Yo definitely won't be named because they aren't on the extended. And I think there's a good chance, some of the other guys, Luai and Toto and
Yeah,
Martin.
Luai, To'o, Martin there. I don't think they'll get played. I honestly think we may end up. I think I think the Panthers are going to get a bit greedy again, like they did last Origin game, and it would not surprise me at all. I think the Dolphins could end up winning and winning pretty well.
Yeah, I definitely could see the Dolphins winning, but if you're going to give me plus 12 and a half, I'll take that every day of the week, especially a Cleary that isn't necessarily at 100%. I think I can't really honestly believe that they're going to give away 12 and a half for this Dolphins team when like you honestly have no clarity on where Cleary will be at. And obviously, it's a Panthers team missing a whole heap of players. But would you agree with me in this one?
I strongly agree. Actually, I'm going to go in a step further and say the Dolphins win and Bostock anytime at $7.25.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, that makes a lot of sense to me, but sometimes when stuff makes a lot of sense, it doesn't end up getting up. But yeah, hopefully we're both right in this one. Let's jump into the next game of the round, though. The Seagulls versus the Titans. Both of our best bets coming out of this game. But before we jump into our best bets, let's talk Supercoach. The fullback for the Seagulls was pretty good on the weekend. Is he interesting you at all as an option?
Yeah, look, I don't know to be honest. I don't know if I have any trust in him to not get injured at this point. As we've seen, he's played 4 games this year. Is that right? Maybe less,
I don't
maybe
know.
more, just more.
Probably maybe just more. I don't know.
He's played 12 somehow. Okay, never mind.
Yeah. I was like,
I
I wasn't
swear he
really
played
thinking what you
like
saying. Huh?
yeah, 4's understandable. Yeah, he hasn't played that many games. I just don't know. if he can stay healthy. And even if he is healthy, there's no guarantees at 100% like we've seen throughout this season.
Yeah,
I know he had a great game. I just think he may be a bit of a trap after that one great game.
yeah, yeah. And I would take that a step further. He obviously scored well on the weekend, but this night's they're not going to win many games by 40. Like he scored
Yeah.
well, but I don't see this Manly team being it and one of the elite teams. I honestly don't really see them making the eight. Um, even though they've got all their players back, I would definitely think that fully fit Broncos team is better than this team. Maybe even a fully fit Knights team is better than this team with all the boys back. That's obviously a bold statement to make considering we lost by 40 to them. But
Yeah.
um, yeah, I still don't see the Seagulls making the eight. And because of that, I don't love Tommy Trbojevic as an option. I'd much rather Ponga and Walsh for mine. In saying that though,
I'd
it
rather a
really just
Pappenhausen than a Turbo, to be honest. I just think there's better options out there for guys who, well, other than maybe Pappy, that we know won't die just randomly.
we'll sort of be devil's advocate to that. Pappy obviously is in a team that's sort of, I mean, it's definitely locked into the eight, but locked into first pretty much. He could get rested the last round of the season, and on top of that, there's not as much motivation for the Storm to perform well, whereas there's a heap of motivation for Tommy T to perform well and sort of carry his team into the finals. So you can make that argument with Tommy T, but just for me, I'm not
Yeah.
100% convinced he's fully with it yet. So it's a risky play still for mine. Outside of that, people jumping on Ruben Garrick, I can get around that a lot more. He did have a niggling injury, though, I believe. So that's one to watch for game day as to whether you want to jump on. But he does always have the goal kicking, so there's that upside. And then Jaden Campbell also highly traded in. He went up 121K last week off the back of 170 and 111 scores. Would you be at all interested in Jaden Campbell?
Is he a dual fullback center wing or
Fullback
fullback
5'8".
5'8"? 5'8"? Ooh, I actually don't mind that. I think it'd be really good to bring in dual players at this time of the season, given that it means that if you do have someone go down, you can switch them around without worrying about a trade.
Yep.
Other than that, though, yeah, I don't mind him as a pick. How expensive is he?
743K, he's still got a negative 30 break even. If you're going to jump on him this week would be the week.
Yeah.
I obviously am an owner, so I'm a massive fan, especially with the goal kicking for Jaden Campbell. I think his role is pretty clear in this team at this point. I think when Brimo is back fully, he'll just switch in straight for Keeney and it won't affect Jaden Campbell too much. It could even help him. Um, so yeah, I'm a massive fan. I can't really sell it much more than that. The only thing to worry about is obviously he's at that high price point of 743K. But yeah, no, I think it's pretty much only upside for Jaden Campbell. But yeah, there's some risk in his price point there. Um,
Yeah, definitely.
Aside from that, some people obviously looking at DCE to fix their halfback problems. He has been, I think, like one of the higher averaging halfbacks. Like, I'd hazard a guess to say like second or third highest this season. Um, would you be interested in DCE? Obviously, with Nico being out.
I don't mind him at all. Again, it depends on how highly you rate Manly. I don't know how highly I rate Manly, so I'm just going to not pick him, to be honest. But if
Yeah,
you think Manly going to go on a run, I think DCE could be a great pick.
yeah, yeah. And then aside from that, there's other like obvious trade-ins. Dave for feeder, people jumping on it at a lower price than he has been, so I can get around that as well.
Yeah,
Um,
he's not playing good footy at the moment. He seems to be. He actually might be injured, I think.
he'll be fine, honestly. Dave for feeder is not playing. You need to worry about it all. Um, Aside from that, some trade outs. Keanu Keeney, people jumping off. I don't know. You don't need to. If he plays, like it looks like he's going to play the full game this week, so you don't need to. But I
Yeah,
can
I think it's a
understand
bit of
it.
a wait and see. I'd rather not drop him this week. Just make sure that he's going to be dropped for Campbell, and when he is, just trade him out.
Yeah, yeah. AJ will be back at some point. The only thing is he does have 167 break even, so I can understand it. You're going to lose some money,
Yeah.
but it really depends on the team and what numbers you have. But
It also
yeah,
depends on how many trades you have and how much you value trade over money at the moment.
Yeah, yeah. Aside from that, there's other obvious trade-ins. Cooler was confirmed to be out for 6 weeks, so he's pretty much going to miss the season.
Yeah, he's a
So
sell.
I'll be moving off Cooler, but I'm just not moving off him this week because I don't. He's not that like I'd rather sorry make more money from Talangi, and then I can just trade off Cooler maybe just to enough at some point when I need the cash from that trade. But yeah, definitely like you can move off him now. It doesn't matter. Um, Aside from that, not too much super coach relevancy. Let's jump into betting in this one. Obviously, we've already touched on it, but do you want to just touch on any other reason that you like the Titans, particularly in this one?
Yeah, look, like I previously stated, I think the Manly have experienced a bit of a false vacuum, given that Newcastle had three players out of position and one player injured,
Yeah,
and they used the hell out of it. So I think they're going to get a bit of a shock when they realise the Titans are a bit more competent.
yeah, yeah. I've already spoken to it, but this backup spot for DC coming into the halves like this time is not great for recovery, and there's not really any Titans players affected. I don't think just looking at their team. I think the Titans team looks very solid for this round. That some of their outside backs have been absolutely flying. So
Yeah.
I'm very keen on the Titans team, especially with hopefully some clarity on the roles for this one with Brimo not playing. But I guess that can change. But yeah, the Titans team just looks really solid, and 8.5 points is too many, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
In this one, let's jump into the last game of the round, the Cowboys versus the Bulldogs. Obviously, this is a Cowboys home game.
Yeah.
Super coach wise, there was obviously been a lot of Cowboys players that have been relevant throughout the year. Do you think any of these Cowboys players are still relevant super coach wise?
I don't know, to be honest. I really don't know. Like I've kept Nana. Sorry, I've kept Cotter in my team. I think he is a great player. Other than him, I don't know if anyone's been relatively consistent.
Yeah, I mean, people would have held. I've still held Val Holmes.
Yeah,
I don't mind keeping Val Holmes considering he's got the goal kicking, but you don't need to hold him. Yeah, like Cowboys players don't really interest me a lot at this point. But some of these Bulldogs boys do. So obviously Reed Marnie's going to have a higher trade in with some of the injuries at the hooker position. Would you be interested in Reed Marnie at all, or is there a better direction to go? Do you think?
I actually have Reed Marnie in my team. Funnily enough,
Yeah, right.
not to like too much. I like what he's doing. I like that his 40-20 kicking has come back into his game recently,
Yeah,
and I think his grubbery has definitely really helped him fire up a bit.
yeah, yeah. And a Bulldogs team obviously that's flying, so you can't go too wrong with Reed Marnie. The only downside is they're not scoring a heap of points, so there isn't as much attacking upside for him there.
Yeah, it's really annoying. Like I'll go into it in a bit, like during the betting part, but it's really frustrating knowing that the doggies don't have a consistent try scorer.
Yeah, yeah.
That
Um, but the player that I'm trading in this one is Matty Burton. I think he's just fallen to a really good price. I think he's still looking good, but he's fallen to 539K. So in terms of a pickup, I love Matty Burton at that price point. And when I can move from Fletcher Sharp to him for not that much extra cash, I think 150 odd K, um, I'll definitely take that.
fair
Um,
enough.
yeah, I think obviously the dogs are going to push home strong that they're in and around the eight. Well, obviously they're in the eight, but like they're not locked into the eight. So I think they're gonna have a good run home, and Matty Burton's going to be a big part of that. I think they've got a pretty good run of fixtures for their run home as well. So
Fair enough.
there is that. Aside from that, some people looking at Kiraz and Curran currently knock those moves too much, but um, I don't think there's as much value in the price as someone like a Matty Burton. Um, Anything else sort of stick out to you super coach wise in this one?
Yeah, look, not really, to be honest. Don't really have anything to say.
Fair enough. Let's talk betting. What do you have in this one and why do you like it?
Yeah, look, well, there is a lot of uncertainty as to what Cowboys players play.
Yeah,
We found they like to rest their players, and that's totally okay, given that the majority of their players are forwards, are playing state of origin big minutes.
yeah,
I think the Bulldogs will get it done. I would like to pick a try scorer, but I don't know. who is going to consistently score for them. The doggies don't have consistent try scorers. So I'm just going Bulldogs head to head at $2.04.
Fair enough. I kind of have a similar opinion. I think if the Origin, well, either the Origin players won't be named, but if they are named, it's a long, well, it's that late Sunday turnaround, and there'll be a lot of fatigue in them by that Sunday period. So any of these Origin players in the Sunday games, I don't see them performing at their full potential. So I don't see their attack clicking as much. And because of that, I've got the Cowboys under 24.5 points. Sort of pretty key line there in the 4 converted tries. Obviously, this Bulldogs team has been very defensively strong, so much prefer taking that 24.5 total points under as opposed to maybe just betting on them head to head. You don't get as good odds. You get like $1.75, $1.80 for the 24.5. But it's a very key number of points. So I'm happy to take that 24.5 points line.
Fair enough. I get where you're coming from with that one.
Cool.
So another side bet, completely out of the blue. But what are your thoughts on how many fullbacks to score this round? I'm thinking 5+.
5.
Yeah,
That's
5.
that's like you should take a less number of fullbacks.
Okay, I'll take 3 then. How's that sound?
Yeah, I think 7 games, right?
Yeah.
I can't. That's fine. Yeah, we'll do 3 fullbacks as one of the side bets.
Okay, instant winner who gets 5 then. How's that sound? Just to prove my
3
own point.
fullbacks. Yeah, fullback. Score. Or you can have like 2 points if it's
Yeah, sure.
score.
Yeah. Okay, you got any other idea for some side bets? We need one more.
I reckon we have to go like a player's super coach score.
Yeah,
I
I'm not sure.
guess we can.
Is there anyone you think is just going to be? I'm happy to take Cleary if you want. Like, go unders whatever points you come up with. Like
You
something like
think Theory's
60,
going to do
70.
poorly? I mean, I don't think Theory's going to do very well either. So,
Yeah.
um,
Ugh.
I'm just trying to think of a team that you like. Maybe this one. Um,
Do you like a
you
40?
just think too similarly. These are the head and the heart. It's just merged into
Yeah, it's
one.
been merged into the heart.
DWZ maybe.
Yeah. What if I'm willing to take like over 60 points on him if you
Let
want.
me just see what he's averaging this.
Hmm.
I mean, we can go lower. We can go like 55,
Yeah, I'm happy to take 55. What's his average?
54.
Yeah, I'll take 55 on that. Hmm.
Okay. We can do 54.5. How about that? That way it gives it.
Yeah, makes it conclusive, just in case look at the draw.
Yeah.
As we
Perfect. So we've got those 4 side bets head to head in Supercoach. The Raiders versus the Warriors head to head. You've got 3 fullbacks to score, and then you've got DWZ over 54.5 Supercoach points. Anything else to add before we wrap for this one?
No, I'm happy we've had a short one. I'm ready to go to bed. Bit
Fair enough.
nappy right now.
Yeah, bit crook. Have you been?
Yeah, no, not great. Might have to skip Origin tomorrow. Not feeling good.
That's crazy. Well,
Yeah,
hopefully we get some wins in the betting for yourself then at least if you do miss the game.
yeah.
Yeah, hopefully we get this game. Hopefully we get this pod out with plenty of time for Origin so people can watch it before then. But if there's nothing else to add, we'll go fuck ourselves.